from us in the future.
The Newfoundland and Labrador Laubach Literacy Council, Inc. is seeking individuals across Newfoundland and Labrador interested in helping others reach their full literacy potential by becoming a tutor. Training is provided. If you're interested in becoming a tutor, or if you know someone who is in need of a tutor, please call. All services are free. For more information, contact Sherry Humber at 634-1441 or email laubach.adprojects@gmail.com.
Real time. Real audio. Real radio. www.mun.ca/CHMR.
And here we are back on the Aperture, your weekly hour-long discussion of all things geek culture. Before the break, we totally embarrassed ourselves by not knowing what the release dates of Bad Company 2 and Just Cause 2 are, and Adam has those for me.
Yes, so it's actually quite interesting. Bad Company 2 came out, depending on what region you were, at the beginning of March 2010, let's say. Just Cause 2 came out at the end of March of the same year. So it's interesting how much of a difference was between those two games. And actually, Just Cause 2 is what we like what fans of video games like to call a sandbox game or an open world game. And what that means, instead of following a linear level like a hallway, it's more you can go anywhere you want and do basically anything you can within reason. It's very, very open. And somebody actually calculated the total map space of the world in Just Cause 2 is 932 square kilometers. Which is absolutely, to put that in perspective, the best-known open-world sandbox game for most people is probably Grand Theft Auto. Would you say that, Rory?
Yeah.
And that's 1/6, 1/7 the size of Just Cause 2.
Yeah.
And that came out in 2010. That's 3 years ago. That's absolutely insane. I was blown away when I heard that.
Yeah, Just Cause 2 is staggering, and it's also a great game. If anyone's out there who wants maybe to transition over to PC gaming, and they want a game to try, I totally recommend Just Cause 2.
Yeah.
Or Bad Company 2, for that matter.
They're both good games.
They're both great games.
Bad Company 2 had some of the best multiplayer for that DICE, which is the company that makes Battlefield, has ever done. I've been told.
Yeah. And also, I think one thing we should transition over. We mentioned movies, TV before.
Yeah.
And we sort of touched on movies a bit. I want to sort of delve a bit into TV and sort of what geek TV really is. Or isn't, as the case may be. To you, what was your introduction to sort of geek television?
Okay. So this is going way back to the 90s, back when NSYNC was cool.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. And there was a small Canadian-based company called Mainframe Entertainment, and they were the first group to ever do a TV show using computer animation, and the first show that they did was called Reboot. It was a show that took place inside of a computer, and this was back before the internet and computers had really become, they were just starting to become kind of household items. So it's dated now, and by dated I mean extremely dated, but at the time it was a really, really cool show. It was a kids show. And then they did another show called Beast Wars, which was a spin-off of Transformers. And so those two shows really, to me, were my introduction to kind of TV in general. Because before that, I mean, Sesame Street, Barney the Dinosaur, but I mean, that's not a very good segue. But these were the first kind of adult show. I don't know why I'm air quoting. Adult shows that
shows with real plot.
Yeah, real plot, violence, character development, that sort of thing. And then eventually I went on to watch other stuff, mostly cartoons.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's sort of where we parted ways. I think we both started to a certain extent with Reboot and Beast Wars.
Yeah.
Which were amazing shows.
Yeah.
Wait, that was called something different?
Oh yeah, it was called Beast Wars in the United States, but in Canada it was called Beasties because they didn't want to use the word war in the title. So for those of you wondering what the heck Beast Wars is actually you're thinking of Beasties.
Precisely, yeah.
Oh God.
See, I started in that area, and then I transitioned more over to the live action side of things. I mean, my first real experience with live-action geek television, I think, was Joss Whedon. Everything he did, but mostly Buffy to start off with. And I think we both really appreciate Joss Whedon's creative efforts over the years. we've seen pretty much everything he's ever done.
Yes, I think the only thing I haven't seen that he has done is he has a new movie. I don't know. That's not out yet, though. The
Shakespeare play?
Yes.
Much Ado About Nothing. Yeah, it's starring everyone we've ever enjoyed to watch in films or television.
Yes, if you don't know who Joss Whedon, like anything about Joss Whedon, he's one of those directors and creators who tends to use the same actors over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how Johnny Depp and Tim Burton are joined at the hip. It's the same way, but he has
a lot better.
Yeah, yes, because although I do like Johnny Depp and Tim Burton.
I've seen Johnny Depp and Tim Burton that I enjoyed, and then seen Johnny Depp and Tim Burton, and I was like, oh, this was made purely for the purposes of Johnny Depp and Tim Burton.
Okay.
One of those. Like that movie, one of the more recent ones. What was it called? I think it was a vampire.
Oh, Dark Shadow, I think.
Yeah,
it was
there we
called.
go. Yeah, that was absurd. I mean, I think we can agree on that. But yeah, Joss Whedon does reuse actors, and he's one of, for anyone out there who knows a lot about the history of screenwriting or screenplay writing, you'll recognize the Whedon name. It's around. Yes, they're related. Joss Whedon, Tom Whedon, Jed Whedon, Zach Whedon. Yeah, the same family. The same bunch of people. Which of his projects, they all sort of fall into the category of geek culture in one way or another.
Yes.
Whether it's more science fiction or more supernatural. And supernatural is really where I sort of find my home in supernatural television, I think. But which of his efforts do you sort of appreciate the most in regard is the height of his sort of creativity? And
So I'm probably going to be viewed as not very original, but a lot of people are probably going to agree with me. If you knew anything about Joss Whedon, then you probably have heard of his most famous and shortest-lived show called Firefly. It was a very small. It only ran for 14 episodes, but it aired for 10 episodes. Was it?
yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, and it's a show about space cowboys.
Yeah.
In essence, that's what it is. But it's more than that. It's a character study of like 10 people living on a ship together, running from the law. It is probably the best show I've seen. Where for character interaction and character growth and just having nice characters. There's not a single character on that show, from the main characters on the ship to like the side characters come in, that I don't like.
Yeah, and none of them are underdeveloped.
Yes,
And one thing I think, for me,
that's why it was canceled by Fox.
Well, there you go. Because Fox did not want a universe show. You know what I mean? Like a show where you have to sit down and create the whole setting. Which you really need to do in Firefly to understand it.
Yes.
The fact that they didn't air the pilot Serenity is a real shame.
Yeah.
Because anyone who tunes in the second episode, which is the train job, is not going to know what's going on.
No. I highly recommend that you pick up Firefly. You can pick up the whole series, but just 14-hour-long episodes. Pretty cheap now, I think, or I'd say around $40-50.
Yeah.
It's really worth the purchase if you like cowboys or space or both or neither. Pick it up. It's really good.
Yeah, if you're a sci-fi guy, I think you just have to see it if you haven't already. For me, I think I can't disagree. I mean, I think that Firefly, in terms of the episodes they did, definitely the biggest character development I've ever seen in 14 episodes. Like, that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Like, for me, the height of Joss Whedon's work was Angel, but Angel had 5 seasons to work with, right? We need to keep that in mind.
Yes.
So, yes, they had a lot of character development, but per episode, I don't think Angel would develop as much, right? Because they had a sort of, especially at the beginning, more of a Monster of the Week style of making television.
And if you don't know what Monster of the Week is exactly what it sounds. It's a show a lot of shows do it, where every episode they will focus on a new monster or bad guy, like early Supernatural, which is probably a more popular show that more people have seen, did that in its first season, where Dean and
Sam.
Dean and Sam, thank you, Rory, would kind of bop around, and they would say, "Oh, this week we're fighting the Wendigo. Next week we're gonna fight a lake spirit or the ghost that lives in the lake." But what happens with these shows is over time it focuses less on them fighting a different monster every episode and more on an overarching storyline.
Yeah, which is when the shows really come into their element. I mean, let's face it, season 1 of Angel is great. I mean, there's no doubt about that there. But it's not season 4 of Angel.
No.
Which in both, I think, Adam, do we agree on this one?
Yes, we do.
Season 4 of Angel is the best season.
Yes.
Good, because
And I know there are some people out there who will be listening to the show who will disagree and say it's the 30th season of Angel that is the best. And I just want to point out right now on radio that they're wrong.
I've encountered extremely heavy resistance in trying to stipulate that season